Hello guys, welcome to Supercars of London and the first episode of Living with a Supercar. I thought that it's time that I bring you on my journey, come along with some of the adventures and find out what it's really like to own a car like the Audi R8. So I thought that the first episode should be my attempt at a full review of the V8 Supercar. I'm going to attempt to relay my feelings and emotions that I get when I drive the car, but also talk you over a lot of the details about the Audi R8 in this specific car, because at the moment it's completely stock, and as you know, it's not going to stay stock, so it's best to do a full review right now. Let's go. As you guys know, I've never actually done a review of driving a car. I've always been in the passenger side, so this is the first one, so bear with me. Don't go too harsh on the comments and some of my stats. But what we have here is a 2008 57 reg Audi R8 V8. It's a 4.2 litre engine that propels this car from 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, and it's got a top speed of about 187 miles an hour. It's four-wheel drive system, which is pretty similar to the Lamborghini Gallardo, as they're both the same sort of car. 70% to the rear and 30% to the front, which makes it quite fun in the wet. Talking about the dimensions of the car, what I'm used to at the Vauxhall Astra, this is a lot wider, a lot lower, but pretty much the same length. Lamborghini said that, or Top Gear said more like, that the Lamborghini Gallardo is the same length as a Ford Focus. I'm pretty sure this isn't that far off, but I have front and rear parking sensors which help me maneuver about in tight spaces. But talking about like the ride height, a lot of people have asked me like how good is it over speed bumps. It's actually not bad. We've probably got about that much. I don't really know in inches or anything like that. I'm not a stats man, but what I do know is it's about 75 inches wide. So if you want to go on Google and convert that into meters or however you want to understand it, you can do that. But after the end of this video, as we walk around, we've got the 19-inch double 5-spoke wheels with black brake calipers. I hope they get painted soon. Moving along, we've got the silver metallic paint, so it's quite flaky in the sun. It looks awesome. And then here we have probably the most expensive optional extra on the Audi R8 from new. It's the carbon fibre side blades. No idea how much they are. I think they're in the region of about £3,500. Check out some of the engine, nice and warm. And the things that you can differentiate between the Audi R8 V8 and V10, it's got 4 tailpipes, not exhausts. SB Race Engineering corrected me on the fact that these are tailpipes and not exhausts. The R8 V10 actually has 2 blades instead of 4, and this whole back is in black. And then moving around, V10 has different style wheels, as you've probably seen on the likes of Shmee 150's car. The side blades are more aggressive. So this is the Audi R8 V8 from the outside. Let's head inside and we'll talk about some of the details of the interior. So inside the Audi R8 V8, you sit quite low to the ground. I'm probably about 2.5–3 feet off the ground, eye level. And we've got the, I don't even know, a flat bottom steering wheel, and it's like full leather. So it's nice to have when your hands are like that, but it's quite weird and quite funny to get used to having the steering wheel with a flat bottom. We've got a hell of a lot of carbon all around here, which again is optional extras. And then ahead of me, we've got some controls that you can use to do the sat nav or the music system. But the overall seating position of the car is actually very central. The steering wheel is exactly where I'd want it to be. The pedals, again, exactly where you want it to be. I've watched reviews of Top Gear and things like that saying that Lamborghini and sometimes Ferrari don't get the driving position right. You've got your feet over there and you're... But for the Audi, of course, as being German, it's absolutely perfect. And then if we start it up, you have to put your foot on the clutch, steering wheel in, and you see the dials go crazy for a bit. and it all sort of goes red. Copyright issues with music. And here we go, let's go for that. There you can see that we've got the SD cards. That's also where the sat-nav sits as well. I haven't even used sat-nav. So there's a lot of nice cool features. We've got auto dimming lights, electric seats, we've got electric folding wing mirrors. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see, but that's also quite cool when I'll be parking in London. And overall it's just a really nice spec car. And obviously when you start it up you get the big V8 grumble. So we'll go and take this car for a spin. So when you first move off from the Audi R8, again, you get the sense of how low you are to the ground. Obviously, driving past parked cars, you're a lot lower than most. The car doesn't feel like a supercar. It doesn't feel very wide. It doesn't feel very powerful. And you can really drive it very sedated and sort of pootle around town in it and get decent miles to the gallon, which of course is always on my mind. Driving this car, having gone from the Vauxhall Astra, which probably got about 500 miles to a tank, and it cost about 65-70 quid to fill up, whereas this, I get about 300 miles to a tank, but it cost me £104, as you saw when I epically failed the first fuel stop. But you probably have to wait around 10 minutes before the oil of the engine warms up and you can really get this car going, but luckily I've already warmed the car up so we can go pretty much straight away. Talking about the sound of the V8, not sure whether you can hear it, but it's actually quite whirry at the moment. The V8 is very quiet, and you can really get away with not making too much noise and creating too much attention to yourself, which is nice when you're obviously just looking to get from A to B, which of course this car isn't the best car for doing, but it's still quite handy to do so. And as we get out into the open road, I'll open up the exhaust systems a little bit, just slightly, and you'll be able to really sort of hear the V8 sound. So here we go. See what I mean? I didn't open the exhaust up too much, but what I did do was absolutely nail it to the floor and didn't change gear until 7,500 revs, which just opened up the exhaust and really gives it that epic V8 sound. I get addicted to it. I really get addicted to putting my foot down in this car, because the great thing is about the Audi R8 V8, a lot of people have said, well, it's not really a supercar, but what I found when testing my first supercar with Premier Velocity was some of the cars that we tested, like the 458 and the McLaren 12C, are almost too fast for public roads. As you know, the 12C actually gave me a headache. And the 458, it's so fast, but it's also so dangerous because you can lose your license like that, whereas this is manageable power. We've got 420 brake horsepower, and it feels like, I mean, I'm 23 years old, I've jumped up from a Vauxhall Astra 1.6, and it didn't take me too long to get used to the sort of the power surge that you get in the car. So we're doing 2,500 revs now, 30 miles an hour in third gear, and just put my foot down and it just wants to go. The Audi R8 was created to be a rival to the Porsche 911, and I think it's doing a great job because it looks absolutely brilliant. I love the looks of the Audi R8. This car's what, 6 years old now, but it still looks just as good as it did when it first came out, which is something that you can't say about some of the old Porsches. The sound wise, again, is absolutely brilliant, and like, I just can't get away from the fact that you can drive this at very slow speeds, get away with it, and open the taps when you want. I mean, there's a gap here of like 15 feet and you just put your foot down and it's just so much fun. So let's touch upon the handling of the Audi R8 and actually being behind the wheel of the 4.2 V8. My first impressions of actually driving it for the first time, which was after I bought it, because of course I didn't test drive it, was that the steering wheel is really quite heavy, and at low speeds it takes a lot of getting used to. It's almost having the Vauxhall Astra, which was a 2007, which obviously had power steering. This sort of feels like I'm going back in time a bit, and it doesn't have power steering. Here we go. We've got some nice turns, and the brilliant thing about this car is obviously it's built for speed and built for cornering. It just hugs the corners like it's not even trying, which is probably the best thing about driving a car that's so low to the ground, has such fat tyres, and it's got so much power. Driving the Vauxhall Astra, the tyres are probably half the width, so when you're going around a corner, like, you'll feel like you're going to topple over like a bus or something like that. But like driving around, like with the traction on, obviously, it really hugs the road and is a real pleasure to drive. So we're just coming around to this sort of U-bend now, and I'm just like, got one hand on the steering wheel and I'm not really trying, and I took that turn at like, oh, this is going to be, oh, my heart was in my mouth there. That van was inches in my wing mirror. Oh my god. But it's, handling wise, as much as the steering wheel is quite heavy, it gives you that sense of being connected to the road and actually being in control of the car, whereas some of the other cars that I've been in or have heard about in reviews have got quite light steering wheel. My girlfriend's car is a Fiat 500 and it's built for the city, and the steering wheel is like bouncing on air bubbles, it's that light. So just gonna try and avoid this pothole. Oh, we got a bit of a tunnel. Here we go. Oh. There we go, there's the brakes. What the hell? We've come to an impromptu car boot sale or something like that, and I don't really know what's going on. And they're realising that we're videoing. What's going on? I have no idea, but we're getting quite a lot of looks for interrupting, I think is the word. It's so fun. It's so fun to drive like this. Oh, we're coming into a nice little quiet road, so I think this is probably a nice place to summarise on what it's actually like to drive the Audi R8 and sort of finish off my first ever review. So this car is sort of, as much as I've seen it and read about the fact that it's built for speed, it's built for driving perfection, it's very hard to read those words or to watch it on a video and not actually experience it. So the only thing that I could probably say is definitely try and go out and drive a car like this, whether it's on the track or whether you hire one or you set a YouTube channel up and be able to buy one. It's definitely worth your while to get behind the wheel of even the R8 V8. Like, a lot of people, yes, have said that it's not a real supercar because it doesn't do 200 miles an hour, it doesn't do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, but really on UK roads you don't need any more than this. It's got a brilliant amount of power, the handling is just perfect like you saw on those roads. It's so easy to drive. I'm only 23 years old, and luckily, thank God, someone out there has insured me to drive this car, live my dream, and enjoy this car. And I hope that I can bring a lot of enjoyment to everyone else on YouTube following the Living with a Supercar journey, also Supercars of London. So make sure that you subscribe, share, and just join my journey and get involved, and hopefully one day you can jump in the passenger seat with me. If you see me, just say hi and ask for a ride. Don't mind giving anyone a ride, so just pay petrol. Cheers guys.